I got to point out that not only are we fraternity brothers from the smallest university probably in Florida, but also fellow logisticians. And I was like a kid on Christmas getting up this morning to be part of your promotions. Hey, just want to pass on one thing about Don. We have been kind of circling each other since University of Tampa for about 22 years in assignments. He's either been coming to theater, or I've been leaving theater, or to a post, and I've been leaving a post. But one thing I'll say about Don, and a true gentleman and a servant leader, and I really didn't pick up on that until this warfighter that I got to see him in action. And smooth, polished, and someone that I can truly send someone to say, hey, call Don MacCuish, he has the answer. And with no further ado, Don, raise your right hand. I, Donald MacCuish, having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States,
having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States,
in the grade of colonel, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely, without any mental reservations or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office of which I'm about to enter. So help me God. Hey, congratulations, Colonel MacCuish.
I appreciate it. So I'm not speaking yet, I think.
Nope.
Okay.
At this time, Mr. Hedrick will induct Colonel MacCuish into the Order of Samuel Sharp. In May of 1994, the U.S. Ordnance Corps Association initiated a program to ensure that ordnance personnel receive recognition for their deeds that go above and beyond the norm. In order to recognize and honor the best of the best in our Corps, the Association created the Ordnance Order of Samuel Sharp. The medal depicts an eagle holding a flintlock rifle surrounded by oak leaves with a shell and flame overhead. The eagle represents America's freedom, which has been defended faithfully and to its fullest measures by members of the Corps since 1812. The flintlock rifle represents our Corps beginnings as well as the materials provided by the ordnance personnel in both peace and war. The oak leaf represents the strength and resolve of the Ordnance Corps to stand the test of time. The shell and flame represent the unleashed energy of the Ordnance Corps. To all personnel, wherever you may be it known that Colonel Donald MacCuish III, having been tried and found worthy to be numbered as one of the trustee members, has been guided to our fold and duly initiated into the solemnly mysteries of this traditional brotherhood of gunsmiths, wheelwrights, and metal workers. Issued this 22nd day of November 2015, signed Brigadier General Kurt Ryan, Chief of Ordnance Corps. Now a few words from our honorary Colonel MacCuish. The floor is yours.
Well, I'll save the family for last. That was good until I looked at her. All right, so first, hey, I want to thank, I'll try and go in chronological order of who's here. I want to first thank those on Ops Group Charlie when I was here as a major, particularly Colonel Tony Layton for coming here today. I'd say Tony Layton was probably the first he was definitely the first 06 officer that I worked for to the point where I could really get to know them as a person and actually receive kind of that mentorship that you would receive from folks of that grade. And I'll tell you, Sir Tony. Tony, you've really shaped me into who I am now, whether that's good or bad, because I just respect the time I had with you, particularly just the way you always balance your family life and your work life. And even though we have a job that takes us out on the road a lot, anytime we were back, the way you emphasized families for us is the way I want to lead an ops group. And it was because of my time under you to really see that. So I appreciate that. From there, I see there's folks from the S3 shop when I was up at MCTP. And I just got to say thank you, Brian and Mike, for coming out here. I appreciate the friendship we had on the team and the constant way we were able to work together. And that was probably my first exposure. And I got to put Lou in there too, really, because the three of you really exposed me to how officers and DA civilians work together and can move an organization in a direction, again, focused on teammanship and being one family. So thank you for your attendance and support of this important time for me and my family. From there, I did see that Spinuzzi came in, so Mark Spinuzzi. I went out to Fort Riley for a year. I was only there for a year. And I was worn out coming out of battalion command. It was just a different time for me there in terms of understanding leadership. And so when I came out to Fort Riley and got to be amongst a team of professional officers, that kind of really relifted my spirit and just gave me motivation to continue on as an officer. And so it's people like Mark that were on that staff that kind of reminded me why we're all in the service together. So thank you for coming out. From there, there's a handful of COGs that were War College buddies with me. So thank you so much for showing up, and really for all the COGs that are now truly I feel like I can maybe call you by your first name. Although you told me I could when I got here, I just didn't feel comfortable. So I think I'm at a spot where maybe I am comfortable with that. And then all the Ops Group Sierra family, thank you so much for coming out and supporting this. Sorry it's at 1600, but really that was because I wanted Pat to be part of this. And Pat, I think you can still see us. So like Pat said, so we both went to the University of Tampa. But Robert Hansen also, I see him in the back, so that was part of that MCTP crew. Thank you for coming, Robert. So Pat graduated from the University of Tampa, I want to say in 89 or 90?
90.
Yeah, 1990. So that's when I graduated high school, 4 years older. So we never were actually classmates together. And then we joined the same fraternity at the University of Tampa. Didn't know each other then. Also a small ROTC program. Both went through ROTC and both got commissioned logistics officers. And so just because that's such a small community in our Army, we just started tracking each other. Back then, I don't know how we kept in touch with each other. I think it was just the SIGEP journal. We might see where someone's going. But then Facebook came around and other things, and it became easier to keep track. And I've always kind of followed and wished that we could work together. But like you said, our paths never crossed. But I feel like he's a brother. Hey, HFF. And we'll always be brothers, and we'll always be there to support each other. So I just appreciate you coming out and doing this. All right, so now, one piece of advice, since, that, and really it's geared to the family. And so kids, I push hard. I always, you're shaking your head. I always try to force you to step outside your comfort zone and do things. And I just want to let you know that although I'm not the smartest person in the world and not the best athlete, I'm proud of myself today for reaching this rank. And you guys can do anything you want to do with a little hard work. And so I think that's what got me here. It wasn't my brains, and definitely wasn't my looks. It was working hard and having good people with me. Why are you laughing at that?
You're stunning person.
Of all the people to laugh. All right. So that's my one bit of advice. It's for you. But I want to give the ladies in my life a little thank you. So my beautiful, beautiful niece. And my incredibly beautiful and talented daughter, Emma, who gets embarrassed when, you do something like that, which is why I had to do it. My wonderful twin sister, who has always been there to support me.
Hoorah. Hoorah. Sorry. I got a brother in the
Of
Marines
course.
too.
The most important person in my life.
That's right.
All right, so I'm not gonna look because I got a couple things. So hey, I made the mistake once in my career of not thanking Amy, and I'm almost sure it was when I was standing right here at my promotion to Lieutenant Colonel. And I
And
said
I'm still
sorry.
here.
I would not be here today, for sure, if it wasn't for you. We met as lieutenants, and you kept a crazy, wild, young lieutenant in line, straightened me out, and have always kept me grounded. Always made sure I had my priorities straight, and always been there to sacrifice your career and the things you want to do to make me do what I want to do. And I thank you for that. I can never repay that debt, but I do try as I can. So thank you so much. Mom and Dad, hey, I love you. Sorry you couldn't be here. Hey, Dad, I hope that knee gets better. You know, Aunt Barbara and Uncle Bobby, you're there with them. So hey, thank you for supporting this as well. Love you all. And I think that's definitely all I need to say. Oh, my swab. Okay, yes. And thank you for my sister and my cousin, or my brother-in-law, Keith, for being here as well. So my sister was at my major's promotion. She came all the way up to Fort Lee to support me there. She's come all the way up here to Fort Leavenworth from Alabama to sacrifice her time to be with our family. So the flowers are just a small token. The Thanksgiving dinner will be a bigger token. And Keith, I got like 3 cases of beer in the basement. So, and Amy got 3 pies. So anything you want is there. All right, so I know we're going to have a reception after this. The beer's already flowing up at 12 Brick Grill, so I encourage you to go up there and partake in that. There's a nice cake and some wonderful cupcakes and other snack food. Evan's all excited about that. Now did I cover everything?
Yes.
I do have 2. Do you have any? All right, so I'm going to hand these out to my my brother-in-law and one of my kids, and I owe my other kid one. But he's the one that would have a fit if he didn't get it today. So.
He wants to come up there.
All right. Hey, John. Oh. I'm writing. No, wait.
It's fine anyway, right?
So that's it. I think if I could just borrow 2 more minutes so I can have family come and do a picture. Absolutely. Hey Don, you can have 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Come on guys, 3 minutes. Picture. Yeah.
I think you can shoot at the bottom. Oh, okay.
Pat, did I forget anything?
Hey, just have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I'll see you at the next either MCTP event or stateside.
All right.
But have a great Thanksgiving.
Thanks for doing this. Yeah. Evan's not smiling.
There you go.
All right.
Come on, gotta get everyone.
Let's get the whole family in here. All right, another smile. Look at the camera.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a note. Yeah, through there.